Hello, welcome to Mowgli TV. Today we're going to talk about some of the functionalities that I feel are the most powerful within Resolume and which are often overlooked by people who are starting or VJing. And that is the dashboard. I'm going to get into quite a bit of detail to explain why I think the dashboard is one of the first things you should ever MIDI map when you get a controller. Plus, I'm going to go through a few tips and tricks that will make your performance ability a lot better, and you have way more control, and you will uncover functionality that does not exist in Resolume out of the box. So I recommend that you stay till the end if you want to learn a thing or two. So first things first, let's get into what is the dashboard. Here we are in Resolume. We've got the three panels: composition, layer, and clip. As you can see, there's the dashboard for composition, one dashboard for layer, and one dashboard for clip. There is also a dashboard for group over here, but I'm going to leave that out for the time being as it works in exactly the same way as the other three. Each of the dashboard has 8 knobs, and you can assign any parameter from within that panel to any of the knobs that you've got there. I'll just do a quick test. For example, I've got audio volume here, so you could literally just drag that to over there if you want, and instantly you can see that's highlighted, and now you've got control of the volume from there. Now you might think, well, what's the point of that? You could have adjusted the volume from over here, which is very true indeed, but there's a lot of advantages to using the dashboard. One of them, for example, is that if you MIDI map your controller to, let's say, the composition dashboard, for example, all you need to do to change your mappings is drag things and take them off. You could easily take it out of the dashboard by just going there and right clicking, and you can see that it's gone. So basically that's one of the most basic advantages of the dashboard. It allows you to quickly change what you're controlling from your MIDI controller without having to go into your shortcuts, edit MIDI, click on something, move your knob, get out of it. So even if it's just for that reason, it's a really good thing to MIDI map. So that is the dashboard at its very basic level, but hold on, because there is so much more. So another thing that the dashboard allows you to do is to pile up different parameters onto a single knob, which makes for a very powerful macro. As an example, we've got this first knob here on the clip panel, which is labeled scale. And if you look at these two settings that I've got open here, when I move it, you'll see that they are both moving at once with a single knob. There is actually no limit to how many parameters you can pile up on a single knob. And there's a lot of control over it. As you can see here in this first scale, I've limited it so that it's working within a range that I like and that is useful for me. I've got another video explaining how to make really powerful macros and how to make a progressive effect, which I've linked to here now if you want to see that. So I'm not going to get into too much detail about that right now. As you can see, the dashboard opens up the possibilities to create a lot of control over many parameters that is not available out of the box. I've got here my trusty MIDI Fighter Twister, which I've talked about in other videos, and I'm often asked how I've got this mapped. Well, I'm just going to talk about the first page. These two rows over here are always mapped to the dashboard of the clip, and I'm gonna show you why. I use a lot of generative content in my VJ sets, and using the dashboard is an extremely good way to be hands-on with your generative content. It basically allows you to have a clip which you can play as if you were playing a video game, just using the knobs on your controller. I'm gonna do a little demonstration, but first a little trick here. If you've got one of those MIDI controllers with 8 knobs in a straight line, what I've got here in the layout right now is perfect for that. But if, as I do, you've got something which has got 2 rows of knobs like the MIDI Fighter Twister, if you actually make the panel a bit narrower, then the knobs stack, which makes it a lot easier to be accurate when you picking what knob you're gonna play with. So I've got my 8 knobs mapped to these 8 knobs of the dashboard over here. So now I can be extremely hands-on and manipulate my generative content as I like using the knobs, which allows you not only to manipulate the content so that you can tailor it and tweak it till it looks like you want, but you can actually play it live. So let's say you've got a beat going on, you could literally just be playing with your knob, and you've got so many controls over it that you're at the drop of a hat ready to do anything. If you've got a controller like the MIDI Fighter Twister that has actually got a push action on the knobs, means that you can assign extra control over them. If I push on any of the knobs, it'll reset that parameter to 0. So if you look at the scale knob over here, I'm just going to press it, and as you can see, it drops, which makes the whole thing disappear as it brings the scale down. Then I can bring it back up again, but if I press, it'll bring it down. This is so much fun to play with. It's literally like having a video game that you're playing while you're VJing. And if you've got that pre-mapped, any clip that you select will be instantly controllable from those 8 knobs. This is so much control in such a small surface. So you might be thinking, I don't use generative content. Well, it doesn't really matter, because you can apply the same idea to, let's say, for example, the layer dashboard, and then you can have stacks of effects on that layer that you control in exactly the same way from your 8 knobs and the dashboard. This opens up so many possibilities. I've got a few videos if you want to get a bit more information about what I think about MIDI mapping in general, but I suggest that one of the first things you should MIDI map when you get a controller is the dashboard to either faders or knobs. That's it for this video. As always, please like and subscribe, as it really helps my channel and it helps me do more videos like this. I hope you've enjoyed the content. I hope I've triggered some ideas, and I hope you've learned a thing or two that will actually make your performances a lot more hands-on and a lot better. See you next time.